Okay, in this packet tracer tutorial, I am going to show you how to work packet tracer in general. Basically, just the normal configurations and how to actually work it. So, all this stuff in the left-hand corner here, this is all your devices, security, emulator. Some of these you're not going to be using, but the important ones are going to be routers, switches. We don't really use hubs too much, and devices, and connections. Also, these other ones we're not going to be using very much because it's just not needed right now. So let's just start off real quickly. Let's build a generalized network. Now, all these are pretty simplistic. If you look, there's generalized computer laptops, some type of server most likely. Oh yeah, it's at the bottom, printer, etc., 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 etc. So let's put a generic PC here. Now, you just click and then click here to move, and then if you want to name something, you simply click here, and this is just to name it for your own information. So we're going to put this as Kids PC because that's what it is now. So let's make a switch now to go. Now there's different switches. There's 2950, 2950T. I think 24 is 24 ports. I think T is something to do with telephone or telephony maybe. But I just generically 2960 TT. So again, I'm going to name this switch a root. So there's your switch. And then I'm going to put another end device here. And again, you can drag these. In this laptop. Oh, I should have put a laptop, but you get the concept. So this, oops, basically we'll bring these down. You can drag these in any spot, and you can put this guy here. So we're going to make a connection to these, a LAN connection first. So the easiest way is all these are, that's automatic. We don't really get to use it. Console is when you want to connect to an intermediate device or a router or switch. You have a straight through copper, crossover, fiber, phone, coax. The serial, you have DCE and DTE, so terminal, and that's where it starts from the intermediate device itself, and then octal, and I believe that's, I'd have to look into it, but basically we're just going to do straight through for this one. You click on it and you have two different things. The RS-232 I believe is a special port, if I'm right. It might be a serial port. So fast Ethernet 0 to, and I usually just put it to the first one. You have lights that can come on and off as you have connections, like on a real one. In this case, this is green and that isn't. Let's do the connection to here, and since 2. Okay, so on this switch, I believe there's no reason to have to turn on any of the actual. If we look, it says interface change state up for both as stated. So there we go, it's green. So we were going through the spanning tree protocol, I believe, to find out what's there, who's going where, and I'm sure if we look we can figure that out. But now we can, to give you an idea, to get into anything as shown, you click it, and there's different things. You can physically change modules, but in this case this one doesn't have any. It's a switch, it really doesn't have much to change. You have your configurations. This is the shortcut menu, so you have all your fast Ethernet, and if you click it, it's going to tell you different information, and you know, your duplex is on auto, your bandwidth, There's your 110 megabytes per second. There's your port status, so you can actually physically turn off the port. VLAN 1 is always it's called the service VLAN or administrative VLAN. And then, so you can do this with each one. As you can tell, it's pretty simplistic. So that's that. But if you wanted to get into more information, this is your CLI, and you would start off like this. You hit enter, enable, and you can, I don't usually type it all out because after you get used to it, you just kind of go, but that's up to you. Config T or config terminal. And then from here, if you hit question mark, and then if we hit space, you can go down and look at all of this. So real quick, access list banner, boot commands, as you can read, there's quite a bit here. Depending on where you want to go is what you're going to do, obviously. But in this case, we just want to keep it simple. So there's really nothing you have to do with a switch. So what I need to do is click the PCs and assign them an IP address, because they come as dumb endpoints, basically. So we're going to hit, there's the configure, which you can do like this again, but I like to go to desktop, and then I like to either go IP configuration, so this kind of mimics if you're going in the configuration in your Windows machine. So let's just make this a generic private address, 192.168.1.1. Pretty simple, and it should auto make a class C basically at this point. Our default gateway is, I'm going to set it to 162.168.1.254. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a router in the mix shortly. And I'm going to leave it static because I don't feel like configuring a DHCP, because I'd have to do that on the router, and I don't feel like doing that yet. So I close that down. That's my first one. This one is going to be command line prompt. Now, real quick, I can do IP config here and see that there's nothing here. So this is kind of just showing you that there's nothing programmed in there. If we do netstat/r, there's no metrics because there's no table yet for this routing table, because basically we haven't actually sent anything over yet. So let's go back to your IP configuration, 192.168.1.2 down 192.168.1.254. Boom, nailed it. Okay, how about that? Magic. Command line prompt, IP config. Look at that, magic. So, coming out of this, now if I were to ping via, let's go to your command line prompt, ping 192.168.1.2, I should get a reply all 4 times. Perfect. So, pretty simplistic on that. Now, if I want to add a router, I'm going to click the routers. Your safe bet is a 1941. See, all of these have a different thing. You have to read about them, and it's not too difficult to figure out. But this is router Keith's room. So we're going to make a router here. I'm going to take another one. Router okay, so now we have 2 routers that are in the mix at the moment. So pretty simplistic, they're both the same type of router. To connect the routers to the switches should be a straight through again, because there's a difference. And I usually like to go on the upper end of the fast Ethernet connections, and then these are going to be gigabit. Now you can see there's empty slots here. You have empty slots to put things in. You have auxiliary, console, other things in this general region, but here's your gig ports and then USBs. So, excuse me. So, if you wanted different types of modules, you can click the different types of modules, and they're shown down here. If I want to put one in, this is 4 switching ports, I would drag it into here, but I have to physically turn the device off. So, now, if I want to do this, there's your serial ports, so we're going to stick a serial in there, because I actually want to use this. And depending on where the serial goes is going to be your numbering scheme as well. I think it's left to right. Is lower to higher, but again, it's been a minute, so I'd have to look. Let's put that in there, and then leave it at that. And let's turn the device back on. Device on. Now it's back out. Do the same thing to this guy. Zoom in, turn off. Here's your serial ports for WAN. Turn on, back out. Okay. So, again, nothing's programmed on these. These are dumb. So we have to do the program.